Welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today I'm going to be giving you an overview of this game, Airlines Europe, and it's brought to you by the familiar Alan R. Moon, who brought us Ticket to Ride and that whole collection. And this one's brought to you as well by Rio Grande Games. Now this one takes about 90 minutes. It's probably a lightweight game and it plays 2 to 5 players. We are aviation entrepreneurs trying to seek licenses across Europe to develop our shareholding in these companies, and they'll be tracked in the form of victory points as they go around. I like how the starting location of these differs, so there's a bit more advantage because some of them have less planes and you have to attain some of these bonuses as you complete routes from, for example, Moscow to Madrid. So you can see the white corporation starts up there in Moscow, and if it managed to get a route all the way down here, it gains those extra points in terms of the share value, and you'll be getting your victory points depending on who's got the majority. So if you're in this zone here, whoever's got the majority of, say, whites in this case, will get 4 points, 2 points, and then 1 point. So what are you doing now? You have this very useful player aid which will give you literally 4 things to do on your go. I'll go through that shortly. You will have a hand of cards which you'll be keeping secret from everyone else. You start with so many and you reveal 2, and this is your share portfolio, which is visible to all other players. Now there's several shares in the game, all various colours, and they're basically, as you can see across the board, a host of them, and they vary depending on the player count, and they'll tell you how many of those shares are available, and they've got some quirky names on them as well. You'll start with 8 million in cash, and interestingly, the actual deck itself, this large deck of cards, you will place in the bottom 10 cards one of the scoring cards, which basically means that when that comes out, well, particularly in the bottom 10 cards, it'll trigger the game end. And you'll also put another one in about a quarter of the deck. So let's just say you put that one in the bottom 10, you take a quarter of the deck and you mix another scoring card in, and then on top of that you'll put the final scoring card, and then you'll put the rest of the deck on top, so you've got a bit of time before one of the scoring takes place. So I like that. It's a bit of variation. Some games, you know, I've had it where one scoring comes out and then 3 or 4 cards later another one comes out. It makes it really tense as you try to vie for control over these companies. Now looking at the board then, it is Europe, and you have got a host of licenses you're trying to acquire. Now it's a bit different from something like Ticket to Ride where you're trying to acquire the whole route. For example, if you're trying to get from Rome to this spot here, you can see the license cost is 3 and 4. There's only 2 available, 2 licenses. So if you do decide to pay free money to put one of your planes there, you would put it there, and you're not able to put any more of that color on here. I'll give you a demonstration now. So the actual box, you can see this is where you store all the planes. They're quite nice in this game. So let's just say, well, I'll go for its option A actually is what I'm doing. So this is what you can do on your turn. So option A is you can build one of these licenses, or you could build 2. And the benefit for doing so is you're going to get a share, which I'll do in a minute. So let's just say you want an interest in blue. You have to start from the actual blue corporation, the airline, the airport, whatever it's called, and you can go on any route adjacent to it. So let's just say we want to go on this route to Athens. So we're going to pay, you have to choose the lowest cost one. Why wouldn't you? It's a money game. So you're going to put that on the free. You then pay free money, and you would move up on the share track blue 1, 2, 3. So you can see they've now gone into this zone here, which is great. So if they have the most shares in blue, they're going to get 2 victory points when that scoring happens. But you don't actually have to acquire a share in blue in this case, but it'd be advantageous to do so because that's the one you're pumping up. So you can see you can do one route, and you can also do another route. So if you want to pick another colour plane, now you could block some of these routes, because say if they decide to do a route for purple and they put it, well, they couldn't put it here in this case, they'd have to put it adjacent, but let's just say purple did have a plane already here, a plane already here. You can put it adjacent to one of your existing coloured planes, so you can now choose this route here, or here, and they'd have to pay 4 in that case. And you can see that as you go along, if people like block it, it's prevented orange from getting over here because they might really want to get to London to score that bonus. So that's a bit of the game which you know, you're hogging opponents' licenses, and for doing that you're going to acquire 1 share. Now it doesn't matter if you've done 1 or 2 routes, you're only going to get 1 share. So you can either take one from the top, a bit of potluck, or you can take one of these 5 available. It's then replenished, and it gets very interesting as to what you're trying to acquire and get the most of. So you might have put like a blue share down, but you've actually taken a share in yellow because they're something you're really after. So that is option A, putting licenses. And just not to forget that you'll increase, as we said, as you go up into these different zones, as you buy those. Option B then is trading your shares into your share portfolio. So you can either choose one share and as many of that colour as you want. So you might have 1 yellow or 4 yellows. You can put them down into your share portfolio, or you can do 2 shares, one of each different colour, and you're going to get 2 million in dividends for each share you put down. And you put these shares from your hand, which is secret, to your share portfolio. So that's how you get cards out, and if a scoring comes out and those cards haven't been put down in your portfolio, then they don't count. Option C is where you can trade one random share that's just put in the box and no one really knows what it is, which is key, because you're kind of keeping a mathematical head count in your head as to what shares are out, and you're trying to see if you've got 6 black shares, you're going to get the majority because there's only 11 in play. So this is a sneaky way to get shares out of the game without people knowing. And if you hand out 3 of these shares, you're going to get 2 abacus. Now what are these? So you'll see there's a pile of red shares here. They're all the same, they're all value 20 they call them, and there's no difference. But when it comes to scoring, it's kind of upside down here, but you can see that in the first score and second and third, whoever's got the majority of those air abacus are going to get 4, 2 and 1, so second player, third player, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of points in the last round. Now these shares in that actual company, they don't have any aeroplanes, they don't have any sort of value in the deck themselves. You're just literally investing in this separate company. So that's that one. And the final thing you can do is take 8 million. Now that's actually really influential in keeping your liquidity fine, but the time imbalance is essential, because if we start the game with so much money per player, so all this paper money here, I think it's 30 million per player, and if there's no more money in the bank when you take that, the bank is bankrupt and you have to reset it. So everyone with more than 8 million hands it back to the bank. You keep 8 million, you'll reset the shares and you'll redistribute them out. So very interesting mechanism that there's only so much money in the game and it gets redistributed as well. So that's literally the 4 actions. You pick one of these, you do it, and then play goes clockwise, and you keep going till one of these scoring cards comes out in the deck. And once it's revealed, you pass this to the player to your left, so it reminds them that it's their go next. That player who then has it to the left will take one of these cards, so bonus time. Everyone then takes one till they're done. You then replenish them all, and then you score. And I've kind of already gone over scoring. You can see that, let's just say yellows, managed to get all the way here. And it's kind of crucial what sort of license you buy. So, if someone's thinking of buying a license for yellow, you can see that, say if they are here, they preferably want to, let's put them here, preferably want to buy one that's got a strength of 4, so you can sneak into this sort of blackened area here, which gives you a different scoring category from this one. So as they're looking on the board, they're like, right, I maybe don't want to go down here because that's a 3 and that's a 4 there, which they maybe want to sneak into, so it pushes them into this zone. And when scoring happens, whoever has the most majority in yellow is going to get 6 points, second place third. If it's ties, it's even of both and rounded up. So that is literally scoring, and then you do the score as well for air abacus. And once the 3 scorings have occurred, that triggers the game end in those last 10 cards. You never know if it's going to be the last card in the whole deck, or maybe the 10th, 11th card there as well. And that is it, folks. It's all about licenses. It's all about upping your share price. Maybe you want to be sneaking and let others do the pay the lower cost because you want to maybe go for this 7 here when someone's put the 5 down, or maybe you want to get this 8 here which goes off from Moscow up north, and that 8 means that you're pushing the share price up 8, which is great because you're having to do less work, but then it's more costly. So there's a lot of very intricate mechanisms to this game that really I find enjoyable. And there we are, folks. That is Airlines Europe.